She was mid-scream, full volume, mascara streaking, pounding on the hood of my Jeep with her designer handbag when the cops rolled up. "He stole my vehicle," she shrieked, trying to shove her HOA badge at the officer like it was a warrant. Then she tried her key fob again. Click. Nothing. When the deputy asked her the license plate, she stuttered, and that's when it all fell apart faster than her HOA-approved bougainvillea archway. "My name's Grant Delaney. Divorced, ex-Marine, and allergic to drama. I moved into Meadow Creek Villas for its quiet streets, decent hiking trails, and lack of neighbors who think they're in charge of my grill temperature." That peace lasted all of 12 days. Enter Margot Flannery, HOA president, amateur locksmith, and full-time menace in pastel linen. Margot ran Meadow Creek like a suburban Vatican, only with more passive-aggressive flyers. She once fined a man for garage door fatigue because it stayed open longer than 5 minutes. The problem began when I bought a new vehicle, a black 1988 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Boxy, gorgeous, and allegedly aesthetically disruptive, according to Margot's 4th email. "Vintage cars are not compatible with the Meadow Creek ambience," she wrote. She demanded I move it inside the garage or off the planet. I ignored her, thinking she'd eventually find someone else to harass. Big mistake. Margot Flannery didn't forget. She escalated. First came the official violation notices, printed on unnecessarily thick cardstock. My Jeep was guilty of vehicle tone incongruity and temporal aesthetic discord. I'm not even sure those are real violations, but Margot had a laminating machine and too much free time. When I continued to ignore her citations, she reported my Jeep as abandoned to the city. Code enforcement came out, inspected it, saw the current tags and registration, and left without issuing anything. She was not pleased. The harassment intensified. Every morning, I'd find new notes tucked under my windshield wiper, each more unhinged than the last. "Your vehicle is lowering property values by existing," one read. Another suggested I was emotionally damaging the neighborhood children with my aggressive automotive choices. I started keeping them in a file labeled evidence of crazy. Then things got weird. I started noticing Margot loitering near my driveway at odd hours. She'd walk past slowly, pretending to inspect the communal flower beds while obviously photographing my Jeep. Once, I caught her at 2 a.m. standing in my driveway with a measuring tape, just checking compliance with setback requirements, she said, as if that was a normal Tuesday night activity. The situation reached new levels of bizarre when my security camera caught her actually touching my door handles. When I confronted her the next day, she claimed she was just checking for rust as per HOA maintenance standards. I pointed out that checking other people's vehicles for rust wasn't in the HOA charter. She responded by creating a new amendment that night and trying to pass it at an emergency board meeting with only herself in attendance. I should have seen what was coming next. Margot Flannery had convinced herself that my Jeep was somehow HOA property that I had illegally commandeered. The mental gymnastics required for this delusion were Olympic level, but Margot had been practicing her routine for years. In her mind, anything that violated her aesthetic sensibilities automatically became community property subject to her jurisdiction. On a Thursday morning, I was enjoying my coffee on the front porch when I heard the distinct beep of a car alarm being disabled. I looked up to see Margot standing next to my Jeep, repeatedly pressing a key fob and looking increasingly frustrated. She tried the driver's door handle. Locked. She walked around to the passenger side. Also locked. She pressed the fob again, harder this time, as if the extra force would somehow make my Jeep recognize her Toyota Camry's remote. That's when she completely lost it. Margot pulled out her phone and dialed 911. I could hear her from 50 feet away. "Yes, I need to report a stolen vehicle. Someone has taken HOA property and is refusing to return it." She gave them my address, described my Jeep as the stolen HOA utility vehicle, and insisted she had the keys to prove ownership. I finished my coffee and waited. This was going to be good. 2 patrol cars arrived within 10 minutes. The officers approached Margot first, who was now red-faced and gesticulating wildly at my Jeep. "That's it. That's the stolen vehicle. I have the key right here." She waved her key fob at them like it was irrefutable evidence. "This man," she pointed at me with the fury of 1,000 violated bylaws, "has stolen official HOA property and is storing it on his driveway in violation of sections 3, 7, and 12 of our community standards." The senior officer, Deputy Morrison, according to his name tag, looked from Margot to me, then to the Jeep, then back to Margot. "Ma'am, can you tell me the license plate number of this stolen vehicle?" Margot's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. "Well, it's the HOA vehicle, so it would be registered to the association, obviously." "Right. But what's the plate number?" Deputy Morrison pressed. "I don't memorize such trivial details," Margot snapped. "I'm the president. I have people for that." The deputy turned to me. "Sir, is this your vehicle?" I stood up slowly, making sure to appear completely calm and reasonable, which I knew would drive Margot even crazier. "Yes, officer. I have the registration and insurance right here." I had learned to keep the documents in my pocket after Margot's previous false reports. I handed over the paperwork, clean title in my name, current registration, insurance card, all matching the VIN on the dashboard. Deputy Morrison examined them carefully while his partner ran the plates. Everything checked out because, of course, it did. It was my Jeep. "Ma'am," Deputy Morrison turned back to Margot, "this vehicle is legally registered to Mr. Delaney. Can you explain why you believe it belongs to the HOA?" Margot's face went through several shades of red before settling on an alarming purple. "He's lying. Those documents are forged. I demand you check them for forgery. I have the key." "Why would I have the key if it wasn't mine?" She pressed her key fob again for emphasis. My Jeep remained unimpressed and locked. "Ma'am, that appears to be a Toyota key fob. This is a Jeep." The deputy's tone suggested he was rapidly losing patience. "He must have changed the locks." Margot screeched. "He stole our vehicle and changed the locks. This is grand theft auto. I want him arrested immediately." Deputy Morrison sighed deeply. "Ma'am, attempting to access a vehicle that doesn't belong to you while making false claims of ownership is a criminal offense. I'm going to need you to step back from the vehicle." Instead of complying, Margot doubled down. She actually tried to squeeze past the deputy to get to my Jeep, still frantically pressing her key fob. "I'll prove it. Let me just try the key in the door. You'll see." That's when things shifted from comedy to consequences. Deputy Morrison's partner stepped forward. "Ma'am, step back from the vehicle now. You don't understand." Margot wailed. "I'm the HOA president. I have authority here. This is my jurisdiction." She pulled out her laminated HOA president card and waved it at the officers like it was a federal badge. "Ma'am, you're attempting to unlawfully enter a vehicle, and you've made a false police report," Deputy Morrison stated. "I'm placing you under arrest." The look on Margot's face was priceless, pure, undiluted shock, followed by indignation, followed by panic. "You can't arrest me. I'm the president of the Homeowners Association. I have a board meeting tonight. I have to approve the new mulch color." But the handcuffs clicked on anyway, gently but firmly, while Margot continued her tirade. "This is a mistake. I know the mayor. My cousin is a paralegal. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. The HOA will not stand for this." As they guided her toward the patrol car, she tried one last desperate gambit. "Wait. Check his garage. I bet he's hiding other stolen HOA property in there. We own a leaf blower that went missing last year." The neighbors had started gathering, phones out, recording every second. Margot Flannery, terror of Meadow Creek Villas, was being arrested on her own turf, still clutching her Toyota key fob and screaming about jurisdiction. The arrest made the Meadow Creek Gazette the next day. The headline read, "HOA President mistakes Jeep for her property, mistakes handcuffs for bracelets." The article included a fantastic photo of Margot being led away while pointing accusingly at my Jeep. It became the most shared story in the paper's history. An emergency HOA board meeting was called for that evening. Without Margot there to control the narrative, the truth came pouring out. Apparently, she had a history of claiming ownership over residents' property. Tom from Willow Street reported she tried to confiscate his garden gnomes, claiming they were community assets. Sandra from Oak Court said Margot had once attempted to tow her daughter's bike because it was the wrong shade of pink. The board voted unanimously to accept Margot's resignation, which they wrote for her since she was still in custody. When they cleaned out her HOA president's office, a converted maintenance closet she'd claimed for herself, they found some disturbing items. There was a drawer full of copied house keys labeled with lot numbers, 4 different colored citation pads, including one labeled "Future Violations," where she'd pre-written tickets for things she planned to prohibit, and, most disturbingly, a small voodoo doll with a label that read, "Lot 47. That was me. The criminal charges were serious: filing a false police report, attempted breaking and entering, and harassment. The district attorney, apparently fed up with Margot's long history of 911 abuse, decided to make an example of her. She was facing up to 2 years in jail and fines of up to $10,000. When her lawyer informed her of this at the arraignment, Margot fainted right there in the courtroom, knocking over the defendant's table on her way down.